If I stand up and say, I'm an American, my family's been here for 300 years, 400 years, and I love this country, but my government's done a lot of horrible things, no one's like, you hate America. If you're like, I love Israel, or I like Israel, I'm a visitor to Israel, frequent visitor to Israel, but this is not good. Shut up! That's not helpful at all. Like, you turn your allies into enemies by acting that way, A. B, conflating a nation state with an ethnic group is not a long-term strategy. It's not wise because you are tied to the temporal politics, the politics of the moment.
It's incredible how over time you wonder how people can change 180 degrees. Well, the question is, what happened to Tucker Carlson? What caused him to turn 180 degrees on Israel and the Jewish people? And did he? Well, let's watch this interview and see what he has to say, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. Kindly subscribe to the channel so that a little bit of light will push away a lot of darkness.
There's a lot of social media, a lot of this coordinated effort from large industry groups saying Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite. Why is that the case?
Yeah. Attacking my children over it. Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah. Right.
And I actually called an Israeli official who I know a bunch of them, including the prime minister, and said, why are you doing this to me? If you think I'm your enemy, man, you're really out to lunch, and they're totally out to lunch. And I've never seen anybody mismanage anything the way the government of Israel is mismanaging the response to what's happening in Gaza and the West Bank. And the way to, and it's not my country, but I'm just noticing that this is really bad for everybody. Two things. One, you have to be willing. If I stand up and say, I'm an American, my family's been here for 300 years, 400 years, and I love this country, but my government's done a lot of horrible things, no one's like, you hate America. If you're like, I love Israel, or I like Israel, I'm a visitor to Israel, frequent visitor to Israel, but this is not good. Shut up! That's not helpful at all. Like, you turn your allies into enemies by acting that way, A. B, conflating a nation state with an ethnic group is not a long-term strategy. It's not wise because you are tied to the temporal politics, the politics of the moment. Like, Bibi's political, I don't hate Bibi, but his political fortunes, individual political fortunes, play a role in his calculation in everything that he does. True with all politicians. You want to tie an entire group to that? I don't think that's very smart. You can say, I really like Israel, I love Israel, I have family in Israel, whatever you think about Israel, but I don't think this is a good idea, or I'm offended by it, or whatever. If you eliminate the distinction between a political organization, which is a synonym for government, and an ethnic group, boy, you're going to hurt that ethnic group, and that's exactly what's happened. It's so bad, and it freaks me out. And I will say once again that my views on Israel apply to the United States, they apply to Senegal, they apply to Malaysia, they apply to people.
But not to the Jewish people.
Oh, come on, dude,
right.
No.
Right.
And I don't even fight back against it because I'm like, that's so low. Right. I'm not playing your fucking game, okay? My view is really simple. I don't think that it is allowable, it is the most immoral thing to punish the innocent. The United States government has punished the innocent a lot. They did it during COVID. I yelled about it every night on Fox News. All governments do this because all leaders get carried away with hubris and they treat people like numbers or enemies or non-human beings and they kill them. I'm opposed to that. You should be, we're all opposed to that, by the way. I'm opposed when it happens in Gaza. I'm opposed when it happens in Texas. I'm just opposed. And all of a sudden we've reached this place where people are so overwrought and defensive. I came out and said something about, I don't know, I'm glad we beat Imperial Japan. I'm kind of sad that we incinerated all those people with the atom bomb. Ben Shapiro did a whole segment about how I was like a Quisling or something. You hate America. No, I love America. That's why I don't ever want anybody to kill people who didn't do anything wrong. That is the basis of justice. We punish the guilty. We can argue about to what degree they should be punished. Should it be Norway where they get high-speed internet and massages? Or should it be, Malawi where they rot in a cave? But
why are we not allowed?
We don't punish the innocent, and that includes children, all children.
Tucker, why are we not allowed to say we are absolutely saddened at the tragedy that happened on October 7th, and we're absolutely appalled at watching people starve and innocents being killed in Gaza and not being able to get them aid? Why can't you say both things and not be criticized?
You should be, and I've decided that I'm old enough, and I know, God, now I sound like such a fraud. I know my heart, but you can feel the hate coming off people or whatever. I would hear Obama talk, and I always really liked Obama before he became a senator, but I would hear him talk and I'd be like, wow, that's animated by hate. And it would be in this is your captain speaking voice, but it didn't matter. I was like my dogs, like I could feel what was in him. And I feel very confident in my views. I like people, and I just feel that way. And I'm not gonna play the game where I have to be like, oh, actually my wife is part Jewish or whatever,
Final
which I could
question.
play. I'm not gonna do that. I think we should stand on principle. Don't punish the innocent. I don't care who you are. No one has a special dispensation that allows him or his country to punish the innocent. And if you do, I'm going to call you on it.
And let me just back up. In lieu of a final question, I just want to back up Tucker on this, that the basis of conservatism is not believing that any government is sacred.
Thank you, David Sachs.
Yeah. Every government should be subject to criticism because we know that they will always abuse their authority. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. All governments must be subject to criticism, and governments shouldn't seek to make themselves immune by essentially calling people names. And I've known Tucker for 30 years. He doesn't have an anti-Semitic bone in his body, and it really pisses me off the way that he gets attacked for criticizing the conduct of a government.
I'm not even that critical, by the way. That's the hilarious thing. I'm not even that critical. Like, I have been around,
David,
and
as we
I know
wrap here,
that people do shitty things, and I'm not
I think for what it's worth, you're an American treasure, and I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah, and Sachs, as we wrap here, tell us about the meet cute moment when you met Tucker and you fell in love with
Oh, the
Tucker.
meet
'Cause
cute.
You love Tucker.
Ah, yeah, meet cute.
Give us
Tell
the
us.
meet cute. You come around a cubicle, what happens? You see Tucker, he's got the bow tie.
You guys lock eyes. How did it?
Yeah, what happens?
It was at
You
lunch
guys-
in Union Station in Washington, D.C. I'll never forget.
Tell us, Sachs, your earliest memory of Tucker.
Just camaraderie born of some common views. So.
Yeah.
And can I say one thing about David? David was saying, I don't even get into it, but he was saying things that now would be considered, well, of course, but at the time were like pretty brave, I thought. He had written a book, and we had a mutual childhood friend, and I was like super impressed because he was saying things that the people around him would be like, you don't need to say that. Why are you doing that? And he was just totally principled, completely principled. And you just don't meet that many people like that.
Yeah. You have a straight shot to the presidency. Are you going to take it? You, Tucker Carlson.
To being president?
You have your fans want it. They want you to run. You have the audience.
My fans.
You have the skill. You have the intellect. Would you consider public service?
Not even for a second, but if I did, I would be like, John F. Kennedy was very moderate, actually, on almost everything. They killed him anyway. So, like, I'd make it about 10 minutes.
Self-preservation is a strong driver.
I get the Jack Ruby kind of cancer. Who knows where he got it, you know?
Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
To be able to judge Israel from Tucker Carlson's seat, there's an old expression in the Talmud that says, don't judge a person unless you are in their shoes. Who in the world does he think he is to tell Israel how to prosecute this war? Was any of his brothers or sisters or cousins or relatives were slaughtered on October 7? Were any of his relatives' babies beheaded, tortured, and parents had to watch the babies being burnt in the ovens? Have they watched any of their relatives were at the Nova Music Festival, where not only were they slaughtered and murdered, but taken hostage? Israel is executing a war, the most difficult war out there. Yes, sadly, there are innocent people that are dying from collateral damage by the hands of Hamas, not by Israel. How dare you criticize Israel enduring a war of fighting for its own survival? Israel is the only country in the world that has the highest morals and ethics in warfare. There's no other country in the world that gives advance notice to the citizens of its enemy to evacuate because they're coming, drops leaflets, sends millions of pages notifying people, leave now because we're coming. No other country provides hundreds and thousands of truckloads of foods to its enemy during war. No other country provides water, electricity during war than Israel. And yet Tucker Carlson has the gall to criticize Israel about punishing the innocents. First of all, how innocent are they? Have you forgotten what Gaza looked like on October 7? When the savage, barbaric Hamas terrorists were taking hostages, marching them through the streets of Gaza? Did you forget who lined the roads of Gaza by thousands, cheering on, dancing, passing around sweets? What a great day this is of watching Hamas drag innocent civilians through the streets, and they were all complicit. You call them innocent? What about those who are keeping the hostages, the Gaza citizens who are harboring the hostages on behalf of Hamas? You call them innocent? I wouldn't call them very innocent. However, though casualties, the collateral damage that happened in Gaza during war is exactly it during war. Hamas went out of its way to dress as civilians, to try to cause as much civilian casualties as possible. Israel has lost 1,000 soldiers. The majority were lost because they were working on precision surgical operations to prevent collateral damage. I challenge you, tell me one time where Israel targeted civilians. If anything, Israel did everything possible to prevent civilian casualties. Any civilian casualties that happened in Gaza was because Hamas was using them as human shields. Indisputable, provable, 100%. Hamas dressed in civilian clothes to confuse the Israelis so that Israel should think that the citizens are your enemy. It was so hard to separate friend from foe when the enemy is dressed like civilians. This is the war that Israel has been fighting and continues to fight and continues to do whatever it can to prevent civilian casualties. So Tucker Carlson, for you to criticize Israel for its execution of the war, you have no right. You are not there. You are not fighting the war. You're sitting comfortably here. They are the ones who are fighting the war. We have no right to criticize them. If anything, you should salute and be grateful that Israel is executing the most difficult war possible in the most strategic and moral way possible. Let's set the record right and be on the right side of history. God bless you. God loves you.